Hey guys, I'm Joshua Vidovic from Vidovic Arts, and today we're going to be working on something really cool and special. It's this here Tudor house. Oh, but is it more than just a Tudor house? I think so. It's actually a dice tower. That's right. I designed this dice tower to go with like medieval or like Mordheim designed cities and stuff. And you can get away with just using it as just that if you wanted to, but you can also use it as a dice tower, which is pretty damn cool. So if you're wondering how it works, I'll explain. Let's get into it. We got the hole right here. That's where the dice come through, and you can see it's quite all the way through there, and then it goes into here, and it spirals down and comes out the door. So let's give it a couple goes. I just use a small dice here, 6-sided dice, and we chuck it into, kind of looks like a chimney hole, kind of like a little decorative piece here. You chuck it in there, and it comes out the hole. That was a bit too fast. So if you chuck it in, it comes out the hole. It works with every dice, as long as it's not too big. I actually have dice here that's just a little too big, and it can get jammed in there. So make sure, if you do print this up, that you don't use overly sized dice. But they work awesomely. I'm really happy with this, and you can go for quite a couple of them, like so. And you can also store your dice in this little section that I've made here if you wanted to, and there's another storage spot at the top here, just in this little section. So there's a couple extras there. You can also put models in this section if you wanted to, or you could decorate it however you want. You could make it like a little marketplace. I thought there's a space here, I may as well use it. So that's that. So some people would say that this Tudor-esque style has been done to death in the medieval scene, but I beg to differ. I really wanted to sink my teeth into this design, and one of my first models was actually this thing right here. So this is my first model that I made. It's a Tudor-esque style building, and I think I'm going to make a lot of these in the future. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to make enough to make a whole city. But this building itself is available, if you want to download it, on my Patreon exclusives tab. So if you're an exclusive Patreon supporter, head over and download this, and I'd love to see you guys print some up and paint them up and share them with me. And yeah, this is just the little building that goes with the pile of buildings that I'm starting to make, or have been making since I started this whole 3D printing gig. Anyway, this model, I wanted to, revamp. I wanted to go back into it and do it again, because I have actually made another Tudor building, which is this one right here. Here's the bottom half. There we go. And I've actually poorly designed this. You can see they just fall off. I didn't build like tabs or anything. I intended to do it later on, but yeah, this kind of slides around a bit. But they've got indoor bits, which are really cool. I really love that idea of having indoors. This model will also be available on my exclusives tab in Patreon. I wanted to build like a porch kind of thing, so you could choose whether or not you wanted to have it as a top story building or a bottom story. I also designed it so you could have multiple different sides of the roof to sit, and you could just go wild if you wanted to. But yeah, you can download this also on Patreon, so head over there if you want to get some exclusive models. Yeah, I'll just put this back. So yeah, that being one of the other buildings that I've worked on in the Tudor-esque style, the medieval style, I wanted to just have at it again. And this is what I did. With my newfound skills in modeling for 3D prints, I actually managed to skip a lot of issues that I had with the previous models. And as much as I love the indoor-esque style, so you could have your models sit inside, or you could put furniture and all that kind of stuff inside, this couldn't have that because I wanted it to be a dice tower. So let's get straight into the build, shall we? So I started off this model by blocking it out. Now, blocking a model out means you build it with primitives, and then you work out the shape and what exactly you want it to look like. And then you come back later on, and then you add in details, and you actually replace parts that completely replace them with more detailed models. I ended up hollowing out the cube that the initial blocked out model was, which was just a elongated cube in a tower. So it had a cylinder put all the way through it, and I cut that out. And inside I built like a little spiral with a cylinder in the center for the spiral to connect to and help support the model. And also so that the dice would actually roll through and not just roll off the edge. which is kind of important if you want it to go all the way down. Otherwise, it could just fall all the way, like, all the way down. But you want it to go down the spiral, is what I'm saying, and out the front door. Now, the bottom floor as well is slanted, so the dice actually fall out and don't just land on the bottom. This is kind of the key most important thing of this dice tower. If it was flat, it just wouldn't work. Straight up, would not work at all. So if you design one of these yourselves, make sure you have the bottom floor be slanted. So once I was happy with the spiral, I was pretty much ready to work on the detailing. I started off with the stonework and the wood that went around it, which is more or less the entire model when you look at it. The stonework were more or less just cubes that I shaped a little bit, and the wood was actually cubes with, I'm not even sure how to explain this, long cubes that were shaped in spirals, like little, I say noodle a lot when I come to modeling things, but kind of noodle shapes, and I used those to cut out the cubes themselves. So they ended up looking like they had the natural wood. I mean, this is a bit of a cartoony style. If you look up close, it's a bit of a cartoony style when it comes to the wood grain. But it's got wood grain in it. And I could have sculpted this, but I really wanted to have that hard cut look to it. And this kind of came out perfectly how I envisioned it. So I'm really happy with how the wood turned out. Now, I wanted to make sure that the model looked different on all different angles. So I didn't want to have the same wood grain on every angle, which would have just been a nightmare to look at and to paint. So I designed a bunch of different wood grains, and I made a 4-block wood grain, so 4-sided wood grain, so the posts would have different wood grain on every side, and I rotated them as I went around, and I just kind of like mixed and matched what looked best. And the windows are just cubes, more or less. They're just cubes shaped in the position to, like, one of the easiest kind of objects you could think of. Is it just looks nice once it's printed. It looks really complex because of the angles that the window sits in. I'm doing a lot of hand gestures for this video, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Now, the roof was the most important part because that allowed the access for the dice to flow into the spiral. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this, and I'm still not entirely happy with the end result, if I'm honest with you. But it works, and just because of that, I am happy that it works. And it is my first dice tower, so I guess, learning. So I cut out a hole in the shape of the spiral just for the dice to begin flowing into. And I actually printed the roof separately so you could rotate it if you wanted to. This is glued down, but if you wanted to, you could rotate it so you could look at different angles. But like I said, the end result works, and I can't be too upset with that. I wasn't too sure how big I wanted this to be, but the bigger I made it, the bigger I wanted to make it. I wanted to just keep making this thing taller and taller. And I think it would be a really fun thing, maybe in the future, to make the tallest kind of dice tower. I was kind of thinking, Saruman's tower. I'm not sure what the name is. It always escapes me, but that really tall black tower that Gandalf goes all the way up and he sits on the roof. I think something like real scale or Warhammer scale, that model, 3D printed as a dice tower would just be amazing. I think it'd be really incredible. And that's all I was thinking of when I was making this thing. Just how big can I make this? But I did stop. You wouldn't have to stop if I didn't want to. I could just print off this middle piece and just keep building it up and up and up. And it would just be a straight shoot all the way down. And it would build up quite a lot of speed just because it's going straight down. It's not really being halted by anything. But I stopped here because it took a long time to print. This bottom piece took 30 hours to print. Just the bottom piece. Painting this guy. I think it was actually quite therapeutic. I really enjoyed it. I painted it matte black as my base color, and then I just worked from there. I'm not sure what colors I used exactly for the wall. I think it was kind of a mix between like a flayed flesh and some brown. I'm not Baylor brown, I think it is. And that worked really well. It looks like a dirty plaster. You can see it right here. It looks like a dirty plaster. I'm really happy with it. I think it could use a little more emphasis on the edging, so you could make it look a little bit more dirty. But I like the look of it. So there's no reason for the color of the roof to be green. I just kind of went with it. As you can see, I got a red roof here, a purple roof there. I didn't want to do a red and another red one or another purple one. I just went with green. So Yeah, if you don't like green, you can paint it a totally different color. So, I think one of the coolest things about this building, and you'll be able to do the exact same thing, because I'm going to make this in different parts. I want to have it so you can either print it in 2 parts or 3 parts. This right now is 4 parts, being the roof is separate, this part's separate, this one, and this one. You're going to be able to print this. That's really stuck in there. So you're going to be able to print this and this by itself. I think it'd be really cool, because you can do this. You got more than one house now. I really love this idea. It's really cool. There's like a little tiny halfling door here, but it's still a door. It works. But yeah, one of the other cool things is with this separated, you can use the dice tower still like this. You just chuck your dice in, and out they come and make a mess, because I don't have a catching zone yet. So if you want to use this on a board, you're gonna have to put it in like a little shoebox lid or something like that, just because I haven't designed something yet. Or you could go and look around Thingiverse to find some fences, but I will eventually be making something for this, just so I can make a little catchment zone. I will be working on more dice towers in the future, but this one is more or less my introduction to the entire genre, if you will. And I'm really happy and proud of it, because I've never done this kind of thing before, and it worked out really well, and I'm looking forward to making some in the future. Some more intricate ones, and possibly that Saruman Tower. Who knows where we'll go with this channel? We will find out together. But in the meanwhile, head over to Thingiverse and download this thing for yourself. I really want to see you guys print it up, and I know it's a long print, so I can wait. But I really want to see you guys print this one up, and I want to see you guys paint this one, and I'm really, really excited to see what people do with it. Even if it's not used as a dice tower, I think it's a fantastic model, and it's completely free. So what do you think of it? How did it turn out? Would you want to print one of these up for yourselves and maybe use it as a dice tower or just terrain on your board? What do you reckon? Just let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and share this video with friends who might be interested. And also, if you want to support me a little more on these videos, head over to Patreon and pledge a couple dollars per video. It really helps me out. And you'll be able to get these. You'll be able to get these kind of models, some exclusives. So a huge thank you to those who are supporting me on Patreon, and thanks for watching, and I hope I catch you around in the next video. See you later, guys.